Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another episode of a Wife Talk Wednesdays. I'm super excited today because we're on our third video of Wife Talk Wednesdays, and if you have not checked out episode 1, episode 2 of Wife Talks, please by all means go check them out because I am dropping some gems for you in just a short amount of time that you can implement in your life day to day. And guess what? At this point, we're family. So if I can do anything that can assist you in my 15 years of experience of marriage, baby, that's what I'm here for. If you're new here, you definitely want to go ahead and hit that subscribe button, go ahead and hit that like button, and go ahead and hit that notification bell. That way you can be notified every single time I upload a new video. And if you're not new here, welcome back. So guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and get straight into today's video. Today's video, I am giving it to you a super quick and super easy, let's say super easy to digest. So we're talking about non-negotiables in marriage. Now, your non-negotiables are going to look completely different from my non-negotiables, or they could look completely the same. I think the most important thing is when it comes to being married, obviously, and nothing is ever going to be perfect and nothing is ever going to run smoothly. That's just what it is, because that's just what it is. But I think being able to still have boundaries for yourself as well as expectations for your marriage is completely important. And I think that's normal to have those things. So let's talk about some non-negotiables. I know that in my marriage, this is what has to happen in order for it to work. Or if this happened, this is not going to work. So guys, a non-negotiable for me is abuse. And I'm not just talking about the obvious of physical abuse. I'm talking about mental abuse. I'm talking about financial abuse. I'm not going for it. I'm sorry, 100% I'm not going for it. I do think that, again, I've talked about in a previous video that there will come financial strains in a relationship that you overcome, and you overcome them together. But taking advantage of someone is completely different, okay? That's a completely different gray area ball game. That's just completely different. And that's just a non-negotiable for me. Being abused financially, being abused mentally, that's just like the ultimate no, because especially when we're all trying to progress in life, and in a marriage you're trying to progress together, and when you only have yourself in mind, then that means you never had the marriage in mind. You never had us in mind. So being able to stand your ground and being able to come to your spouse and say, this is my non-negotiable and this is not what I'm going for, then this is not what I'm going for in my marriage or in our marriage. And this is how we do things to prevent that from happening. You talk finances, all things finances. I gave in my last video some examples of things that you can do to ensure that you have a healthy dialogue when it comes to finances, as well as, like I said, mental abuse. We're not going to allow anybody to be able to talk to us in a manner that is degrading or anything of that sort, because why would you even want to talk to somebody loosely and you love them? Okay, that's not love. That is not love. So abuse is a big no-no for me, and that's that. Moving on to another non-negotiable that is, honestly, this one is 50-50 for some people, and that's infidelity. For some people, they're like, I give my spouse chances, or I give my spouse hall passes. That is just a topic in itself, okay? I give my spouse hall passes. I've shared with you guys, teach people how to treat you, okay? If you're early on in your relationship, okay, whatever. Mistakes happen, people do stuff. And when I say early on, I mean I'm going to say the first 3 months, 6 months, okay? Because we're still trying to figure things out. But once you hit a solidified time in your relationship, year, 2, 3, 4, 5 years into your relationship, your marriage, it is harder to cheat than it is to be faithful, okay? It's so much more harder. The game you have to play of making sure you're not trying to hide this from this person, it's just a harder game. And I don't know about the phase y'all at in life Things are already hard, so why am I overcomplicating it? Okay? Now, I know for some people, I'm gonna say for myself, I would rather exit the relationship before I cause harm to my home. And that's just that. But for some people, they know the grass isn't greener. They like playing the game. And for others, they just feel like things aren't gravy here, so I'm gonna go here to make sure things are at least gravy so I can get what I'm not getting here. And if you are someone who are like, okay, I forgive you, but I don't forget, or I forgive you, let's move forward, you have to be able to stand your ground on your position, stand your ground in your relationship and in your marriage, so that way you know and say, okay, going forward, this cannot happen again. Going forward, we cannot go through this again, because those type of things, infidelity, when I say that is harsh on a relationship, it is incredibly harsh. You got to regain trust again. You got to be able to see the person the same way you saw them a year ago. It's just so hard. The mental toll that it takes on a person is a lot. So you got to be able to have the conversation to be able to say what I'm willing to take, what I'm not willing to take. Again, some people have different rules of engagement when it comes down to those things. Some people give their significant other hall passes. If y'all want to go into a dialogue about hall passes, baby, we can. Now, I'm going to go ahead and be honest and upfront with you. It ain't no hall passes over here, but we can have a little conversation and we can talk about it. If that is your position, if that is your stance, baby, you gotta be strong, okay? You gotta be strong. I'm letting you know that now, because it's already hard enough, like I said, maintaining your marriage. So carrying on another relationship with someone else outside of the marriage is just as hard. So that's detrimental. So we already have a conversation when things feel off in the relationship. Talk, okay? Talking to you blue in the face, whether you have to go to counseling or whatever it is to improve your relationship, to improve your marriage. I'm not saying throw your marriage away for something stupid, but what I am saying is be aware, be cognizant, have the conversations, talk to one another, because listen, looks fade. I get it. I understand. We're all not going to be beautiful. We all going to grow and grow old and whatever the situation have you. But you have to know that the person you with is your person. Okay. We in this together. We growing in this together, and we can just pluck our grace together. But the abuse of infidelity is very, very harsh. It's very lingering on a relationship and on a person. So a non-negotiable is a non-negotiable. Another non-negotiable for me, and this one is of course a little bit, I'm not going to say it's out there, but when it comes to friends of the opposite sex, and I'm just going to be completely honest with you, I'm just not like a you can go hang out with your female friends. Some people, they will allow their spouse, they'll allow their significant other to have the opposite sex best friends and have conversations with them and so forth. Do I think you can have a work friend? Fine. I mean, that's work. Does it extend past work? Absolutely not. Obviously, in some situations, if your boss is the opposite sex, it's just stipulations in situations where some things are okay and some things are not okay. But I have come across individuals where the husband has a female best friend and the wife has a male best friend, and they're okay with it. I'm not okay with it. But that's my non-negotiable. My non-negotiable and your non-negotiable is completely different. Now, some people like to be like, well, I guess you're just insecure. I'm not insecure at all, okay? I'm very confident in who I am as a wife, who I am as a mother. I'm very confident, okay? But at the same time, I'm not letting the devil play in my backyard, okay? Because if you leave the door open, what come in? Flies come in, bees, everything else. So I'm more confident enough that if I make sure the door is secure and nobody's out back in the backyard, then we good. We good. I'm not worried about who coming here, because we ain't gotta worry about who coming in here. So that's my non-negotiable. And so I think it's important to come up with non-negotiables in your marriage for yourself and have the conversation and stand on it, okay? Because it's very hard. I know it's very hard sometimes to be in love and you lose a sight of certain things and you tend to put other people first and you're being neglected, you're being abused. Those things are incredibly difficult to handle. Very, 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 very hard. But it's important you have the conversation with your significant other and you talk about what's expected of the relationship, what's expected of the marriage, and what's not going to be tolerated. None whatsoever, okay? Are there going to be discrepancies in your marriage? Absolutely. Absolutely, because it is what it is. It's going to be discrepancies. Have children together and you don't previously have children together and see the different upbringings that you both have had and now bringing them together and you're trying to raise children. It's completely different. So you have to be on the same page. So yes, I know that things come and go in a relationship, in a marriage, but come up with your non-negotiables. Talk about your non-negotiables this week with your significant others. That way, before the non-negotiable present itself, before it even presents itself, we already know what to do for it to even not occur, okay? For it to even occur, okay? All right? So if you are thinking about financially abusing me, this is what the parameters we have set in the event something happens, you know? If you're thinking about stepping out on a relationship, this is the consequences that comes with stepping out on the relationship. Again, I'm not the person, and I will never be the person to tell you how to run or control your marriage, your relationship. But what I am saying is I am the person is going to help you, encourage you to be a better you and to have a healthier relationship, a healthier marriage, and encourage you to talk and converse to one another so that way you can last the 10 to 15 to 20 to 30 to 35 to 40 years to 50 plus years of marital bliss in the most healthiest way. Okay? Well, guys, that was it for today. That was it. I wanted to get on here and just share some non-negotiables. And if you haven't talked about it with your significant other, if you're early on in your marriage and you haven't talked about it, even if you're like midway into your marriage and you haven't talked about it, I think it's important that you at least start. So, because the most important person to be on the same page with is your spouse. It's your spouse. Okay? So guys, until next time, until another Wife Talk Wednesdays, I will see you guys later. Bye.